So then we got Sunday Night Football. Major implications in this game in terms of deciding seeding on the NFC side of the playoffs. Both these teams feel pretty comfortable. The Bears have clinched the playoff. But this is going to be a big game. Bears versus 49ers on Sunday Night Football. Bears coming off just an absolutely miraculous win against the Packers. Onside recovery, multiple touchdown drives led by Caleb when the offense had been just dead in the water all game. And the Niners coming off a huge win this past week. Brock Purdy looked great. The offense was looking good. So both these teams are kind of hitting their stride as they reach this game that is all season. This has looked like it's going to have major playoff implications. And so here we are. It's going to be a major test for Caleb against a Robert Saleh defense that has had a little bit of trouble getting to the quarterback. So I think that can be exploited on the Bears side. Caleb's been especially great when he's had time to throw. And I think really what this game's going to come down to, boys, is turnovers. The 49ers give the ball up more than almost – I think they're a top 10 team in terms of giving up turnovers, whereas the Bears are the number one team in terms of takeaways in the NFL by 3. They have 31 takeaways. Just an incredible season so far. And at some point, all season we've heard about how luck is involved, and that's true in terms of, in a vacuum, the idea of getting a turnover, you need some things to go your way. But when you have 31 turnovers and you're leading the league by 3 at this point in the season, at some point that just becomes your identity as a team. And it really lends itself to just coaching, to the guys in the locker room, to veteran players who have a nose for the ball, and to young guys who are developing a name for themselves like Nahshon Wright. So with the 49ers giving up the ball at as the number 10 team in terms of giving up the ball versus the Bears, the number 1 team in terms of takeaways, I'm looking for a late game turnover to possibly be the difference in this game. Caleb to play consistent, take care of the ball. And I do think that the Bears are going to have a chance to win. But that's my read off the top. Christian, as our fellow Bears expert here, what are your thoughts on the game Saturday night against Packers? Maybe the biggest Bears win of our lifetime. Do I say that? Certainly regular season Bears win. And what are you thinking about this game, Sunday Night Football against the Niners?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely close to the NFC Championship game in 2006, but
regular
right
season.
there.
Regular season.
Yeah, it's up there for a regular season game. But yeah,
I think the Packers in Chicago. That doesn't happen anymore.
I know. But going forward, it feels like it's going to happen a lot. So
I like
whatever. I would just say, I just think we need a full 48-minute game or 60-minute game out of these boys. I don't know.
Packers play 48-minute games. Not the Bears, the Packers do.
But I don't see us beating San Fran just because I feel like San Francisco's offense is clicking on all cylinders right now. And I feel like without us clicking on all cylinders offensively, especially not at full strength, I just don't know if we can keep up with Kyle Shanahan offense with Christian McCaffrey. He feels like he's primed up, ready to go for a playoff run. But I will say it's tough to beat a team twice. San Francisco is still fighting for that division. They could very easily wind up with the 1 seed, I believe. So if that's the case, we'll try and see them later on in the playoffs. Who knows? But yeah, I think offensively, hoping for more than, 3 quarters of good football. But ultimately, I'm not trying to, ride or die with a win or a loss in this game. I really just want to see good football, see the offense continue to develop with or without Roman and Luther. I just want to see Caleb get better, and it feels like he's been getting better every week. So that's good.
Yeah, I mean, just as a counterpoint, though, it feels like this is a game that is right there for the Bears with that plays into their hands in the sense of the pass rush in San Francisco struggling. When Caleb has been, has been flustered, it's been when you can get pressure on him and you force him to, do what he does best, which is scramble out and escape. But a lot of that, the questions about his completion percentage, a lot of that has to do with throwaways when he gets flushed out of the pocket and he's just in a bad spot. So if he's able to sit in the pocket and, find guys like Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet, DJ Moore is coming off his biggest game as a Bear by far. See if he's okay. I mean, he looked like he was a broken man by the end of that game after the cheap shot he took and just, the way that the Bears were relying on him. I've been a guy that's criticized DJ Moore a lot in his time as a Chicago Bear, and I got to tip my cap because that was a hell of an effort and a hell of a performance on Saturday night in the biggest spot when you needed him. So, yeah, but again, being without Luther Burden is a major drawback for these Bears. Rome Odunze, he's been less and less important in this offense as the years gone on. But, yeah, going to need a big game from guys like Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet, DJ Moore. Ja'Day Walker, another guy who coming off 8 snaps, we got to give him a shout-out real quick. Preseason legend. The only people who knew about Ja'Day Walker were people who were watching the Bears preseason games when the dude was balling out. So it was great to see him, have that catch in the huge moment to keep that game alive. Perfect toe tap catch in the corner of the end zone. Looked like a pro. Looked like he had been there for a seasoned vet and not an undrafted free agent playing in the first meaningful snaps of his career. So shout out to Ja'Day Walker. Bears are going to need him to have a big game too. But yeah, on the other side too, though, Christian, to your point, Kyle Shanahan is not one to underestimate. Brock Purdy has been playing some really good ball since he's been back from his injury. And Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle, those guys are no joke. And so even with some of the injuries on the defensive side, this is a 49ers team to be respected and feared. They're playing at home. Sneaky other factor in this game is that 49ers just played on Monday Night Football and will be playing on a short week, whereas the Bears had an extra day of rest. So the Niners have one fewer day of rest, and the Bears have an extra one coming off that Saturday night game going into Sunday night the next week. Could mean something, especially this late in the season when you just need guys to be as healthy as possible, as rested as possible. So that's something to pay attention to. They are playing at home. So obviously that kind of cancels out some of that advantage. But Mike, I'm curious as a third party here, what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, I mean, let's just start off with the 49ers. I mean, Brock Purdy, since, he came back, I mean, he's been protected by this offensive line, been able to make plays outside of the pocket, kind of getting back to where Brock Purdy, makes his bread and butter, plays in rhythm, working with all of his playmakers, kind of as we've seen it. And I think he's been playing the best football we've seen from Brock Purdy, looking like pre-injury Brock Purdy. And what I'm saying with this defense, and I know you guys agree, that this is not a consistent Bears team with how much you're having to rely on the ability to create turnovers, but they have been doing it. Now, when you look back into the season and you look at where the Bears had their best coverage games, it was Geno Smith, Shadussy, Mason Rudolph, and Spencer Rattler. This is a different defense when you got to play good quarterbacks. And there's going to be a lot of good quarterbacks that you're going to have to play when you get into the playoffs and you're playing in the NFC. That's one.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Is he?
So now Jalen Hurts is good?
I was piggybacking off of Mike's point.
Okay.
Good playmaking quarterbacks. Now, Caleb Williams. The throw was great. That was awesome. It was sick. It was so cool. Chicago went crazy. There were 3 other quarters before that, fellas. that we saw him not play good football. He had one big throw early on in games last month. He's not starting off hot, and that is concerning when you're going up against this San Francisco offense. Like, if you're not having the big-time throws and you're not setting up the point, you're not setting the tone, you're not setting up big plays, I feel like this is a game that can get away from you if you do not keep up the aggressiveness with what we've seen from him when his ass is on the fire in the fourth quarter and you're seeing him get out of the pocket. You're seeing him trying to go win the game. If we don't see more out of him until we get to the fourth quarter, 3 points, that's not even in the question. And this is a long road trip. The Bears are going to have to win this one on the ground. This is not a good defensive line for the 49ers by any means. And I think that's one of the places where you guys, and they have Christian McCaffrey, and I think you guys are just about even or may even have the advantage just with what they're going up against. But it's not a great defensive line for the Bears either.
It's a horrible defensive line for the Bears.
Defensive
line can't do anything. They can't stop the run.
Both
can't get any pressure on the quarterback.
Both teams are going to be relying on those runs that get to that second level after you get past the defensive line, exploit the secondaries, and who's going to win those explosive plays on the ground? You're going to have to get to that second level with your offensive line, to be able to take out their linebackers and safety, set up the explosive plays, and let Caleb do what he does. Another thing. And this is why I really, really, really like the over in this game. Who the hell is going to get the pressure between both of these defenses? Neither of these teams are good at rushing the passer. And we're seeing the best ball be played from these teams in the fourth quarter. I'm going with the 49ers to cover this game solely based off the fact that, yes, Christian McCaffrey has not looked like himself. It's a bend, don't break defense from Dennis Allen. It helps lead the turnovers. They lead the league in takeaways, all of that. It's not the best team. It's not the best defense in the red zone. And, I'm sorry. They are one of the best. Sorry. They are one of the best defenses in the red zone. I should say that. But I feel like the explosive plays aren't going to have to come in the red zone. This is a place where really, you could get diced up by Christian McCaffrey and it's just over. And I feel like you get into a ground and pound game, with Brock Purdy playing how he's playing. Caleb's going to have to fix the inconsistencies. The defense is going to have to play better. But then when you tip the scale like that, that's why it's a 3-point game, and I like the 49ers in this one. And you're coming off an emotional win. You're coming off a huge win. Having to regroup, play this game. That's just why I like the 49ers in this spot. It's not an indictment on the Bears. You guys have had a great season thus far. I'm just saying you're seeing Brock Purdy play some of his best. Let's see how Caleb is going to respond. Just had that massive game. I like the 49ers at 3 here.
Yeah, also something to consider is that these teams played last year in San Francisco, and the Bears absolutely got stomped. And so, a lot of the guys that were on that team last year are still here and went through that game. I don't know if you want to call that a indictment or a disadvantage for the Bears, or just, some of these guys have experience playing in this stadium, playing against this team. They're going to want to get their lick back after getting embarrassed last season as well. And Ben Johnson has these Eberflus guys. It's a team of, Eberflus guys, old vets, and rookies, essentially, that Ben Johnson has completely turned around. So there's going to be some questions about until they can put together consistent winning games on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball, against teams other than your Browns, Mike, I might be sorry to say, against real contenders in the NFL, there's always going to be questions. But the Bears' answer all year has been turnovers, forcing turnovers, and you can't really predict those. But when you have one team that consistently gives the ball away in the 49ers and another team that takes the ball away at a higher rate than anybody else in the Bears, again, you can't predict them. I can't tell you how it's going to happen or when it's going to happen. But the Bears just have a way of finding the ball and taking the ball away. And I expect that to be the difference in this game. I don't expect the Bears to all of a sudden have everything click on offense. I think there's a potential for the Bears offense to play better based solely on the fact that I think Caleb's going to have a little more time in the pocket. And I think he's underrated as a pocket passer. A common criticism that Caleb's heard throughout his career is that he can't play from the pocket. I think Ben Johnson has really helped him along with that this season. You see him taking a lot less sacks, throwing the ball over the middle of the field. The deep ball has always been a question, but the last pass he threw was probably the best deep ball in the NFL this year, 60 yards on a rope, exactly when you needed it to DJ Moore. So things are looking up for Caleb. I think the Bears offense could put a little more consistency together here. And, yeah, I think that the 49ers defense, as good as Rob Saleh has been, there's an opportunity to exploit it. And Kyle Monangai is coming off one of the best games he's had against the Packers. So, and DeAndre Swift is one of the best running backs in the NFL under Ben Johnson. So they're going to be able to rely on their run game, get to the second level, as you said. But another underrated thing about this game, not even having to do with who's going to win or lose, is you have two of the most creative offensive minds in terms of scheming up the run in Kyle Shanahan and Ben Johnson, where this is just going to be a masterclass of running the ball. I think both teams are going to look to take care of the ball, not allow the other team to lean on the other defense on the other side and to try and win this game. So I think, it's a 3-point spread, I believe at this point, 2.5 or 3. Feels appropriate to me. I think this is going to be a very close game. And look, when it's been a close game this year, who better than the Chicago Bears, right? I mean, they always find a way to win them. So give me the Bears, partially as a homer take, but also I feel like I had some good stats to back it up.
And at 52.5, I like the over in this game. Both teams put up. They're both going to put up over 25, I feel like. So I think that's right.
I juiced that up to 60, to be honest.
Yeah.
Hammer that over. You heard it here first. All right. Any other thoughts on this game? Christian, any other thoughts on the Bears right now?
No, doing a great job.
All right.